releasing, sending down that energy to the center of the earth. Happen to all. As we take another deep breath in, we bring in the energy and the light from the heavens straight down into our sacred heart. I call in all of our benefic guides and ancestors to come and be with us now. We ask Great Creator of all that there is to bring in our spirit guides and ancestors that are benefic of the north, the east, the west, and the south, from above, below, and within. We want to give thanks to all those that are on the planet. Today is December 8th, 2012. We're so grateful. It is 3:33, and I am sending out a sacred prayer on the ley lines of Payson, Arizona, where I currently live. Walk into the sacred grounds of St. Philip the Apostles Church, and I'm probably going to say a sacred prayer, but want to give thanks to all of you on this beautiful full moon. We have a full moon, and today we are bringing a message for all of humanity, a global message on how to prepare starting today. This is the last full moon of the year. This full moon is a great time for us to release. I want to say that the full moon is in Gemini, but I'm not an astrologer. I'm an oracle. And right this moment, in given time and space, I am going to bring into you the collective energies of the planet. I go by the name of Yahira Lobos, and Yahira Lobos is a conduit. I am and have experienced being a walk-in from 1995, where my higher self, Yahira Lobos, walked in. And I've already been connected to Source, and all of us on planet Earth now are being asked to be connected to Source. So that's what this message is coming to you at this timely fashion. And just getting to the sacred grounds right now. Let me show you. So I will take you to the sacred garden. Want to give thanks. So sitting here might be a great idea as I sit on these sacred rocks and speak ceremony to the people, by the people, because we are the people. So, oh my goodness. And just as I say that, I find a white feather on the ground right here by the rock that I'm going to sit at. So, this is great. Can I hold the camera here? The message that I'm bringing for humanity right now is about what we need to do for the rest of the year, preparing for next year. And I did my homework with some of the best astrologers One of the astrologers that I really recommend is the Leo King. You have to get past, him drinking Sprite and cussing, which I've done plenty of myself, and what may appear as his ego, and really listen to the astrology, because based on my research and my knowing of astrologers, nobody's been more accurate. He has an app called the High Vibe. And then also Sun Soul Astrologer Marutu is an astrologer, a channel, and does great astrology. So there's another woman who teaches, great teacher, and that is Astrology with Heather. And I highly recommend the Astrology Hub with Amanda Pua, who brings in all of the top astrologers from around the globe, like Rick Levine. So many of you may not know what your astrology chart looks like. If you're a sun, moon, rising sign, you're like, what? Well, it's time to know where the planets were and what influences and energy were present when you were actually born. It's based on where you were living, the time that you were born, your name, and just got to give your email and the city and the state. The exact time is necessary for you to actually get an accurate birth chart. If you don't have a birth certificate, all you have to do is go down to Social Security and get down to the records of the county that you were born in and the city that you were born in, and just reclaim a new birth certificate. There, the time that you were born will be stated. In the next couple of months, we're going to be going through what we've already been going through for these last 10 years. These last 10 years, Great Creator has given us an opportunity to purge. As the Mayan prophecy ended, we have been now fulfilling what is known as the Hopi's prophecy of a time where there would be a split between humanity and the return of the bird tribes. That's us, the 144,000 light workers. Not all of them are activated. I've been saying this for a long time. There's a lot of people that read the Bible and the Revelations, the part of the Bible where they talk about 144,000 light workers that would come during the time of Revelations. In the Bible, Revelations is the time where we're coming to the end of earth. If humanity doesn't raise consciousness and awareness to realize the reality that we create with our thoughts, energies, that we manifest our actions, we're not victims. We're here to be in our power, to remember who we are, and to collapse all the other timelines that ever existed to birth a new earth, a new paradigm in Christ consciousness. This is Christo consciousness, Christ consciousness, unity consciousness, where we are all to come back to the sacred one that we are. My entire life, I lived my certain story, and for the last 10 years, on today's date, on December 8th of 2012, it was my Mayan spiritual birthday. We all have a spiritual birthday according to the Mayans. They also have something called the Mayan astrology. I'm Kib in the Mayan astrology. Kib is the channel and the conduit from the heavens and the galaxies above to the center of this earth. On my spiritual birthday, December 8th, which is today, I'm supposed to go and look for signs and messages and omens from all that is above, right? And we'll let the sun activate my reading. So you're receiving the solar energy. I can't see it now. Great Creator wanted us to look for signs and messages and omens on this day of our spiritual birthdays. And today happens to be my spiritual birthday in Mayan astrology. And in 2012, I fell. I was sober for about 15 years. I'm a recovering addict and a survivor of all abuses. And I was born in New York and was living in New Mexico for 15 years, got sober, was living a better life. And then in 2011, Great Creator asked me to come back home. And when I did, I saw that my father wasn't going to be around much longer. And I was asked to stay home based on another channel giving me really good information about that right now was the time that I needed to go home. And I was being asked by my ancestors to assist my father. I eventually fell to my demise and started using again on December 8th, my spiritual birthday. I thought I was going to a concert that night. That night, as I was coming out of the con, my friends on the ground getting beat up by 4 men, kicked and just wailed in his face. I screamed, I asked for help, and nobody came to our rescue. So I eventually jumped on one of the men, pulled him back, and that happened to have been a New York City undercover police officer who was looking to make an arrest with a drug bust. And they got really super pissed, and they beat me and my friends and got unlawfully arrested. In the middle of that beating, I didn't know if they were cops. I was asking them what my human rights were. They wouldn't identify themselves. They were wearing regular clothing. I started to tell them that if they were police officers, they needed to identify themselves. They didn't. I stopped traffic because, like, you can't catch me if you're trying to kill me. I've already let people hurt me, so I'm really good with getting away. And, you know, that's why they were so pissed, because they couldn't catch me. And we had like hundreds of people in the street on 3rd and 4th Avenue right outside of Webster Hall. I went to go see DRI and Undivided, death metal hardcore show with all of my New York City and state friends. And that night, Great Creator had a different plan for me, eh? I wanted to go out and get drugs and get high that night. Great Creator said, oh, heck no. And I guess the cops were conduits for God. And I got beat down to the ground. And in the middle of that, I called those cops out of being corrupt. And so the next 2 years of my life was about receiving a message from God that night. In the middle of the beatings, Great Creator asked me to choose a side. Either I was going to be of the light or fall to the darkness. And Archangel Michael came down from heaven in a flash and basically asked me to choose a side. That night I chose the light, and I screamed, I choose the light, I choose the light. And Great Creator told me that I wasn't going to actually be shown the future anymore. They were taking that gift from me because I was always gifted as a channel since I was little. And Great Creator told me that I would have to listen to the voice of God and trust again. That Great Creator took me so far away from myself and all that I ever knew that was pure and good. I got to a place of psychosis and drug addiction and self-abusing, loathing behaviors. And I felt really separate and alone at that time. I was 40 years old. I was 41. And at that moment, Great Creator showed me every moment of the way was to purify my body, my mind, my heart, and my soul of all the things that I have taken on in this lifetime that have been considered one of the 7 deadly sins, or breaking sacred law. We have universal laws. Laws like thou shalt not kill. Sacred laws that protect this sacred land and all of the creatures and humanity. The sacred law and these universal laws are about respect, about value. about truth. And one of the things that I've learned through getting sober in these last 10 years is that if I became a volunteer, it would make it easier. So Great Creator had me on a mission, traveling from one city and one state to the next. And Great Creator showed me that in my volunteering, I'll find out who I am again, but to be of service to the people. And I asked Great Creator, well, what do I do now? And Great Creator had me quit my job as a bartender to stop serving the deadly, sinful water, the sacred water that we make sinful. Water is sacred. We don't need to turn our water into poison that causes psychosis and death. Let's face it, alcohol was not a great idea. If you can drink responsibly and have a glass or two and de-stress, God bless you. Enjoy a glass of wine with dinner, God bless you. But what I do know is that when I got to the first place that God had me serve, it was with the children at a festival that was transformational. So at these festivals, they were 3-4 days, and Great Creator wanted me to be the wind beneath the youth's wings and to be a voice for those who do not have a voice, and to enforce sacred law. And where those that were breaking sacred law and taking advantage of the disadvantage and being disrespectful, Great Creator had given me the opportunity to be a voice. I used my voice as I also did a lot of shadow work. For every time I used my voice, I got super triggered and I had a pushback on everything that I was sharing with the public masses, because as an oracle, I did share the information that in a couple of years before 2020, I was that oracle, that prophet on the streets, sharing with people that they needed to prepare for the good Lord was coming to clean up, give us an opportunity to clean up this mess. All of the systems of this planet have fallen into a patriarchal system where control, greed, fear, and power was abused. The systems that I'm speaking of are the educational system, the political system, even religions, the agricultural system, the mental health behavioral system, the economic system, every system, the banking system, every system that has been placed, especially the educational, all of them, people, we already know. When you go to the doctor and you go to the hospital and you have surgeries, and there's been people who have been birthing and being born and dying in hospitals, how many stories have you heard about things that have taken place in the hospital that are just against how sacred we are? I've heard of women being stripped down naked with 9 other people in the room with fluorescent lights, and children are being birthed. They're disconnecting us from the sacred in these hospitals, the way that they educate us in these schools. They don't teach you to love yourself, to care for yourself. They don't teach resolution, problem solving. They don't teach how to be strong, how to be confident. So many of the children of this planet have been abused. I am now here to continue to give you this reading while I bring in the codes. Children of this earth are needed now, for it is them who are going to implement the blueprints for the new earth. Our children are being cared for by the Divine Mother. And we're asking all of humanity to pay attention to the energetics in your house, in your home. How do you speak to everybody in your family? What is the volume of your house? Abuse could very much be verbal, emotional, mental, physical, and spiritual. We have been victims of this planet, not this planet, but we have been victims of other human beings taking advantage and abusing their power, causing harm and hurt to others. When these are no longer the codes: glorious, resurrection, ascension, Pentecost, assumption, coronation. Now, ain't that funny? For I really believe that the corona helped clean up a lot of these belief systems and thoughts and ideas that no longer serve humanity. There's been a lot of separation in the religions of this world, cultures being separated from one another based on belief systems. We need to take a look at all of our beliefs that are present on the planet today and ask, do they serve us any longer? Many people need to understand, and overstand that we, the people, are asking to be purified, body, mind, heart, and soul, to come back into the oneness, Christo consciousness, which means that the children that are here now on the planet have an opportunity to build something beautiful and new from the heart, working with others, knowing that we're all part of the same tapestry of life. We are all interconnected. What happens in China does have an effect on Africa. What happens here in Payson, Arizona does affect New Mexico. We are all interconnected. Our waters are connected. The air that we breathe in is not separated. The fires that we light know no discrimination, and the earth knows no color. And we are being asked to kind of take our heads out of our asses of what happened so many years ago for so many different cultures and religions and beings, including myself, guys, that we are asking for I'm just looking for these words. When reconciliation, when we can say the Ho'oponopono to ourselves, forgive ourselves for the life that we took on. So I came here to be born during a time that historically and monumentally, I shouldn't remember who I am, but I do. And now it's my job to make sure that I'm purified, body, mind, heart, and soul, so that I no longer get triggered and think that the people who are triggering me or trying to hurt me or attack me are just going through the same thing that I'm going through, where we're all meeting our shadows on earth to heal all of it. And until we release all of our triggers, we're not healed. So I am asking every culture and every religion to stand up and get in the heart and remember your history. Stand on the truth of who you are and how you became who you are. Share that knowledge and wisdom. But remember, if we stay angry at any culture or being for the horrific crimes that they have caused, then we're going to stay stuck in the loop of victim, perpetrator, bully, and we're being asked to close that loop now. We ask Great Creator of all that there is and all of our benefic guides on this full moon to sit with the fire and invite your ancestors. Make an offering to Grandfather Fire. Bless all of your chakras tonight with holy water, for this is the last full moon of 2022. This was a year of number 6, where we were looking at how we were receiving and giving away our energy, our power, our time, our money. Pay attention to how you reciprocate that which you give. Is everything balanced in your relationships, in your home, in your career? This is a time that we're going to take an inventory and do everything that we can to purge what no longer serves us. I suggest as many ceremonies that you are connected to with those that are running them in the sacred way. We ask that all those that are on earth pay attention to the sacred, to tradition. There is also a new way coming on the planet that isn't traditional. There is a split between that technology world and the indigenous. Many of us that are here are hybrids. We're intergalactic, galactic, and indigenous. Yahira Lobos is my higher self. Francine DeGiorgio is having the human experience. Yahira Lobos walked in 1995. I've been walking in this body, experiencing many different personalities, jobs, locations, and seasons of my life. And we're on the hero's journey. For the next 8 months, every human being on the planet, whether you believe in any prophecy, religion, astrology, or what I'm saying, is going to be able to experience the pivotal expansion of consciousness in this next year. The new earth is birthing. There's so many great things that are happening behind the scenes. We may have to see a lot of hard things take place before it gets better. There is going to be some more of the earth climate. It happens every year all over the planet. It's not a big deal. It gets to be a big deal when people are thinking about the solar flares. So I will say to drink extreme amount of water and get as much rest as you can. Sun gaze in the morning, at night, get the light codes, be underneath the fresh air, go for a walk amongst the trees, hug the trees, take your shoes off, ground, walk on the earth, and prepare. We are preparing for releasing what no longer serves us. It could be for lifetimes, all of this life, or something just recent. What Great Creator is asking us right now is to think about what it is that you would like to transform in your life. What is it that you would like to heal? And focus on that. Focus on healing all of your wounds. Pray. Pray for your family. Pray for people all over the globe. Connect to your higher self. We're connecting from the heavens to the earth. And remember that these next 8 months are all about letting go of that old you. Many of us will be stepping into the new earth. This is a call for the 144 to get their business together. A lot of us are going to be fasting, going into silence. We're going to be working out like it was a Rocky movie. We are writing our books. We are writing our books to write the story, to leave behind her story. It's not about being in the ego. Many of us that are writing are leaving behind knowledge and wisdom for the future generations. There are many spiritual light workers that are saying things like, we don't need validation, we don't need recognition. And that comes from others just working alone. The new earth means that people don't go into business for themselves. They come together in collectives. And we work on the greater good of all. We need clean, free flowing water for the future generations. There are so many intelligent people on the planet, but who's really in the rivers and the oceans cleaning it up? It's going to take us to get into these waters to clean them up and to come up with a new filtration system. Some of these dams are ready to break, and some of these pipelines are threatening our sacred waters from being contaminated if those pipelines bust. That is oil in our sacred water, killing all of our ecosystems of this world. Right now, we have so many men and women on the planet who know how to market, who know the technology. So if we really wanted to give free food to every human soul on the planet, we could. We have everything that we need to feed every human soul. We also have everything that we need to build the new earth. The new earth are earthen homes, using cob, using hemp, using mud, using air. These are the elements that we need to protect. Anybody who's going into business making money off of Mother Earth on their own, any corporation, any company, any business, they will be shut down. In the new earth, we have advocates and activists that are here to make sure that every human being has non-GMO food that is organic and healthy and vibrational. We do not need to enforce or support any longer GMOs or any companies like McDonald's, Chili's, Walmart's any longer. We, the people, know how to make and sew clothing. We know how to make our own medicine, which is way better than Big Pharma. We know exactly how to raise our own children without sending them to these corrupt schools that tell us lies, segregate us, and set us up to fail. We, the people, know social emotional education and education for all. We know that every human being on planet Earth has a right to shelter, to food, to water, to breathe. We have all that we need to provide shelter for every human soul. There's no excuse. I speak these things because I've witnessed them on the last 10 years. I traveled around North America as Yahira Lobos, and I birthed something called Crystal Nations, for the people, by the people, because we are the people. In 2012, when I was arrested on December 8th of today, I became an advocate for the mentally ill because I was diagnosed with having CPTSD, which is a post-traumatic stress disorder from a lifetime of abuse. As an advocate and activist for the mental health for NAMI, I told my life story on how my life was affected by mental health at the Lenzik in Santa Fe, New Mexico on October 13th of 2013. I traveled around North America after I told my life story because Great Creator asked me to bring consciousness and awareness that everybody on the planet was out of balance, not just me. Everybody called me crazy my whole life. Well, that was inevitable. But was I the only one that was really crazy? Great Creator said, no. You'll see. When you speak about what happened to you in your life, everybody's going to start remembering what happened to them, and you're going to bring up the shadow. And that's exactly what I did. I brought up the shadow everywhere I went. I didn't know. I was just listening to Great Creator. I thought I was going there to be the wind beneath everybody's wings, huh? Like, what the fuck? The next thing I know, people are getting triggered by me because I'm sharing my story about how I was raised, what I went through, my losses, the rapes, the drugs, the drinking, prison, you know, being beat up from head to toe more than one time, having been pregnant 6 times with no children, 6 near life death experiences, being ostracized 6 times in my life for speaking truth, losing my mother when I was a child. All of those things, you know, it's a big thing. I got sent away when I was a kid for 2 years, and I know the system. And when I traveled around the United States, I got to see and witness miracles where people did build other people's homes for free. In fact, that happened in 2020. Some of us are doing the good work to remember who we are and why we're here, and to enjoy the uniqueness of who we are. And we're all here to remember that we need to come into full forgiveness of everything that's ever taken place and do the Ho'oponopono. Come into full forgiveness with Kuan Yin, with Mother Mary, with Jesus Christ, with any of your ascended masters and angels. Pray and ask for that. If anybody triggers you on the planet, they're reminding you of what you need to heal. Look in the mirror. It's mirror, mirror on the wall time. When I was a kid, I was infuriated with all the systems, and I made a lot of problems for a lot of people. Us light workers caused a lot of chaos just trying to bring in the light through the chaos. And so many of us were volunteers doing our best to be a voice for those who didn't have a voice. And as I shared all that I just shared in this video with you in bits and pieces of my last 10 years, I've learned that we have everything that we need. Everybody's healing. We all need to forgive, and we all need to do self-care. We need to change the systems, clean up the planet, clean up the water, make sure our air is clean. Okay? I'm going to end this with beautiful things right there. Baptism by John, Miracle at Cana, Proclaiming the Kingdom, Transformation, The Last Supper. Thank you to all who listened. That's just what needed to be said in this quick minute. Love it. Love you, great creator. Thanks. Oh.